ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. We're actually finally getting started. Let me adjust the volume. Alright, so the gameplay footage you're looking at is actually gameplay footage from my desktop PC. If you enjoy that, feel free to put a fucking comment in the box. Let me know if you want to see other games. This is all captured from my desktop PC, my gameplay. I'm not about to go and snag somebody else's gameplay footage, but in any case, this is, oh man, me getting started again for the first time on the stream, or actually no, for the third time, to kind of make up for last night's disaster stream. But in any case, I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time. It's going to be a little more well structured, and we'll cover a couple topics, but we're not going to try and cover every single thing on the planet like I did last night. I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. I spent most of the time just trying to figure out how the interface works, and I was just kind of dicking around with it. So in any case, let's get this party started. It's not really a party, not by any means, but in any case, first off, I'm going to start by just introducing myself, give you an idea of, the type of commentary that I'll do. It's pretty much whatever I decide I want to talk about. But here's the cool thing. I've decided, especially after talking to a couple friends of mine, what I really would like to do is, since this is, at its core, a social commentary channel, I'm going to be taking suggestions from other people who are in the viewing audience, and then I'll give my live reactions and commentary to those videos. And I'll also do segments where I put my opinion out there a little bit more. I'll share some other videos that I'm aware of, different channels, and I'll put them out there in the streams as well, so that people can just get informed and we can have more of a dialogue about it. That's really kind of my aim on this. Rather, because I was trying to figure out at first, like, how exactly do I want to handle this? Is this just going to be me talking off the cuff, which is really what it is right now anyway. This is the overall aim of the stream, just me sitting here talking, chilling, playing some video games, and responding to you guys, but also talking about whatever happens to be on my mind. And this time, though, I'm going to start things off right. First off, if you want to know a little bit about my political leanings, I'm not really, okay, I love freedom, okay? I'm a constitutionalist. I'm not a liberal or a conservative. If Democrats coming after my Bill of Rights, I attack them on social media with commentary on various avenues, whether it's on Reddit, whether it's on Facebook, the Reddit charts, or something else, Twitter as well, YouTube, etc. I might do a video or a vlog, or I might do a, whatever. And if Republicans are doing it, I do the same thing. I don't listen to rhetoric. I don't listen to propaganda. I go to the actual legislation. I track and trace exactly who sponsored it, where it came from, and who's behind it, period. All right, let me just tell you something. George Bush, Obama, the Clintons, the Democrats, the Republicans, these people are all owned by the same transnational corporations that are not free market and use government. Yes, corporations use government to pass laws and shut down their competition, number one. Big corporations actually lobby the government to get corporate welfare paid directly to them. Big corporations are actually lobbying for big government. And then they use their fancy media propaganda to claim, oh, it's the dumb liberals, or this group or that group, and they're, these stupid people, they won't let us drill on the Arctic refuge. But we actually know, because of publicly available documents, if you do the research, it's actually the oil companies blocking that. They have official documents out there, and there's actually plenty of oil under the surface of the planet, enough to last us hundreds or thousands of years, right? The thing is, they want to have artificial scarcity so that they can crank up the price and drive more profits, and they can run a scam on you. That's just one example of this, okay? I'm free market. These people aren't. The robber barons 100 years ago, the JP Morgan, the Rockefellers, they were not free market. They were monopoly men. They used government to consolidate control. And if we're going to fix this country, we've got to shift our paradigms out of the left-right system and get down to, does it give me more freedom or less freedom? Is that more free market or less free market? Some people would call that libertarian. I don't even call it that. I call it constitutionalist. I call it grassroots. I call it populist. I call it common sense. All government is a gang with a flag, with guns, using force, telling you you've got to do something. It may do some good things, but overall, historically, it does more bad things. That comes from our anti-federalist forefathers. Go read their quotes. It is endless. The things that they said about it. You need to look that up if you don't know this already. So, in this podcast today, what do I want to actually discuss? What do I want to talk about? I mean, there's so much to discuss. There's so much that's been going on lately. It's almost like trying to drink the contents of Lake Superior with a little pixie straw. But first, I guess what we'll do is start with this. I actually saw, let me minimize this video real quick. I hate to do that to you because I know you guys some of you probably enjoyed the gameplay. Let's see. Oops. What was that video called? I gotta see if I can find it real quick. It was actually a pretty cool video, and it was about global warming. And a lot of people, this is the reason why it's so hard. Like every subject that you discuss, anything that comes up for debate, it's always kind of a touchy subject thanks to the people on the left. And what I mean is people on the left is not leftist politicians. The political side, the political spectrum in general, we already know what it is. The federal government has gone so rogue, it's no longer truly representative of the people, what the people want, as so much it's more of a reflection of the state of political affairs and the state of society at large here in this country, if that makes sense. Because you gotta think, some people would say, oh no, this country's, or this government's not legitimate, blah blah blah. Sure, yeah, you could say that all you want to, but if the public tolerates the illegitimate dictates of an illegitimate government, then in that way, yes, it kind of is a legitimate government that represents the state of its people. So you got to think about it. You know, I'm able to look at things in those different ways, and I've got a unique perspective, I feel, when it comes to that sort of thing. So, you know, where was I? Oh yeah, well, it was about global warming. I can do a more fleshed out video on this later. I'm not going to waste my time pulling up the video right now. It's already 2 o'clock, guys. So I'll just kind of give you a brief summary of how I feel about it. First of all, what's behind this? The IMF, the World Bank, they lobby the UN and others. They pay thousands of professors and studies to claim that we've got this deadly global warming going on. But even if global warming was real, which we know the Earth goes up and down with a climate change cycle that goes back a few thousand years, we've looked at 2 or 3 of these studies and we actually know exactly what happens. But we know it's really the sun that drives the ecosystem and the climate more so than anything. The sun and solar activity has more of an impact on the climate here on the planet Earth than pretty much anything else. And this idea that, you know, the evil Tahoes and your you know, vehicles on the street have that much of a profound impact on the environment and the global ecosystem is just ridiculous. It's fear-mongering, and what this is, it's a psychological ploy to set in place and to set into motion a global carbon tax. They want to put a tax on life. If you take a breath and exhale, that puts CO2 into the atmosphere. Your car, vehicles nowadays are far more efficient than they ever have been. And you know, you think that an electric car is going to save it. Look, vehicles are net polluters. period. There's no way around it. The material that it takes to produce an electric car, they've got videos and documentaries on this. The manufacturing side, and I'm not talking about assembly. The guys over at Tesla, the guys in all these different companies, they're not going to tell the truth about this. They'll tell you, I'll tell you exactly what they'll say. Oh no, our assembly process is insanely clean and very environmentally friendly. But what do you say about the rare earth material that has to be extracted from these islands that look like paradise, and once you're done with them, they just look like barren wastelands? What about all the diesel that's burned and all of the... I mean, I can do a whole entire video just on the extraction process, but that's just, again, that takes a little too much time for right now. I want to keep this podcast tonight, this stream tonight, kind of simple, but I definitely do want to tell you that right now. No, it's it's not nearly as environmentally friendly. All you're doing at the end of the day is... you're just moving the means of production. The production is the pollutant, obviously, and you're moving it from, well, where you drive every single day. Well, the pollution was made in building the car or getting the raw materials to make said car. That's really what's going on. So no, it's not quite as simple as you might think. There's no one solution to this, and there's not really a combination of solutions that we could come up with that's going to really make that big of an impact, excuse me, on the overall environment. I'm here to fucking tell you, vehicles, you could just do studies. I mean, again, the ice core studies, the Vostok ice core sample that they pulled, they drilled into the Arctic sheets, and they found that the Earth, for the past, few thousand years, has had global warming and cooling periods. And during those, accelerated or decelerated cooling and heating periods, the CO2 content of the atmosphere went up and down, but typically lagged behind the warming. So that means that there were external elements or external influences that had a lot more to do with the state of the climate on the planet than anything else. So yeah, I apologize. I'm not exactly just rolling with the points right now because it's fucking 2 o'clock. I'm kind of tired and I'm just going crazy over here, but I'm having fun with this. It's definitely not bad. We'll move on to the next subject here in a minute, but I do want to actually point out, though, what they want to do, the powers that be. You got to think the World Economic Forum and all the rest of these big wigs up there. Number one, they hate your freedom. They don't want any country to necessarily be free. That's why they're talking about you eating bugs. They're talking about you owning nothing and enjoying it, for crying out loud. So no, these people, of course, they don't want you to have any type of autonomy or freedom not to defend yourself or anything like that. They want to pump you up with all sorts of experimental medications. They want you to sit in your house and watch their propaganda pieces, etc. I could do another video on that one too. How the talking points, the mainstream media talking points, are disseminated across the entire industry. I actually got contacted recently by, the Associated Press, and I was actually surprised. Now, I'm trying to remember the dialogue that went back and forth, but it was an email. I don't think I'm supposed to be showing that online. I'm not going to do that, but what I will say is this. I basically called out the Associated Press, basically just saying that, hey, number one, you guys are not actual real journalists. You guys are a news media organization. You produce news media content. It's not meant to actually tell the truth about anything. You're just out there telling stories. Yeah, there might be a little bit of truth, spread, throughout different articles here and there, but for the most part, your media narrative is just what it is. It's a news narrative. And then the Associated Press, if you just type in, just an example, let's do this. You could go to google.com. Let's see. Alright, I'll show you how you can actually find stuff, and you can see exactly how news media works, okay? So let's type in white Florida man. Boom. And Look at this here. You've got Washington Post, NPR, TMZ. So look, see, this is how it works. This right here is an example of the talking points, the wordage, how all of it is put together. White Florida man, blank, or whatever. And then you've got here all your news articles. And then if you go to the Associated Press, you'll see the same exact thing, but it will have, because if you look up Project Mockingbird, that's basically what I'm pointing out right here, is all of these different news organizations, they get all of their stuff, it's all from a cutout. That's basically what it is. You think you're getting informed and you think you know what you're talking about, and all you're doing is reading a press release from Associated Press, which is designed to to get a specific response. They're going to appeal to your emotions. They're going to appeal to what might trigger some people, and they've got everything down to a science. So, white Florida man convicted of killing black man, blah blah blah. Boom, there it is. White men charged with smashing black teen's car. Now, watch this. All right, let's see. Black teen. I forget what it was. Black teen. Oh yeah, look, this is what I'm talking about. Now this, I'm signed out. So biases, all that shit, you're not seeing anything that's, oh, this is what you searched up, this is what you looked for. No. This right here is what people are looking for on Google. So you saw what happened. I just typed in white Florida man or white man, and you can clearly see, you can see all sorts of different things here. Now you type in black teen, what comes up immediately? Black teen hairstyles, black teen killed by police. Black teen, let's just type this in, black teen. You'll see, yeah, scholarships, oh, that's kind of nice. They actually show some black teens going to college and all that. It doesn't have anything to, you know, but no, going back here, let's see, black teen girl, and we're not interested in all that. Two Florida men accused of attacking black teen. But typically what I'm trying to say is this: when a black kid, see, look, how you are going to learn eventually watching my podcast, because I'm going to shed light on some of this shit. I really want to blow this thing wide open. Number one, white men charged with smack. I mean, obviously, look at this. So you can see the media narrative wants everybody to see and understand this right now. Black men are victims. 9 times out of 10, the black men are either, yeah, okay, great, he went to college or whatever. Oh, black man killed by fucking police. Black man killed or robbed or shot by white people, blah, blah, blah. Now, I can't find it right now. I don't know. I don't have the patience to really look it up because it's getting late, and I'll do this at a later date. But what I do want to show you is just how the narrative machine works. It's all designed to elicit a specific response from the public, because every time you hear anything about black teen, black man, blah, 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 it's always in a victim situation, right? But if, let's say, a black teen robs or shoots another black guy, you won't find that. You won't find that. You can look it up or type it in. You've got to specifically type it in, and then you might get a couple local news articles, but you will never see anything coming out of the Associated Press, Washington Post, none of that shit. You'll never see, oh, black teen kills white boy. You don't think that shit happens here in the U.S.? Bro, let me tell you something. I know people that were just itching. They made me uncomfortable, but I knew black people who were just itching to go out and beat the shit out of a white person on the street. But you don't see that shit over here on the news. This is what I'm fucking talking about. This creates bias in the overall body politic. This is how it works. Now you saw what happened. I type in white Florida man, and it's all associated with, yeah, he shot somebody, he robbed a black person, blah, 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 etc. Type in black teen, oh, black teen killed by white man, black teen killed here or killed there, and that's exactly all the shit that you see. So don't fucking tell me that because if you go to Crimes and Statistics, FBI, black on, hold on, this, I'll actually probably have to log into my, let's see, shootings. Homicide data, here it is. Now they all break this shit down, but you can actually go in and look, and you can see, if you consider the fact that, number one, we see more black on black crime, obviously, taking place. Just looking at these statistics, and none of it, when you type it into Google, they'll have you believe that the only people who get killed are black people and the only people who do the killing are white people. So that's just, you know, again, that's just how the media manipulates people, the masses. And the same exact thing goes for global warming. It's a psychological ploy, as I said before, to get you to rally behind bad policy, to get you behind bad policies, bad government, and everything else. Because what are they going to do? They're going to just eventually tax electric vehicles. But think about this. Electric vehicles are obviously not the end-all be-all answer. Because guess what? You've got to have to support. If every vehicle that every person in America owned was an electric vehicle, do you realize how that would affect the infrastructure? Number one, those vehicles are going to be heavier because they weigh more at being an electric vehicle. So that's automatically going to put more of a strain on our roads, the quality of our infrastructure as a whole, because look at how bad everything is already right now. So, yeah, that's one issue to concern yourself with. Now, you got to have more wires, more power delivery systems, more capacitors that sit atop of all the power poles, because we've already got a pretty highly, not taxed as in like they're gaining money from it. What I'm saying is these power lines, power poles, all this stuff, that's going to take a lot of manpower, a lot of money, a lot of resources. And you think that this corrupt government as it stands right now is going to put that kind of infrastructure in and get it done efficiently and effectively? No, that is not the answer. And then for what? Our country, the U.S., does not pollute nearly as much as other major industrialized nations. And that was one other thing I wanted to bring up before I move on. And this is, oh man, this is kind of crazy. I'm kind of losing it right now because I'm kind of tired. I hate that. It's kind of a repeat of last night. I wish I could have got to this a little bit earlier. But if you go and look throughout history, okay, the pre-industrialization period, before industry had taken off, before fossil fuels were widely used, before the automobile, excuse me, there were, like, look at this, this is something else you can actually look up. Volcanoes, a volcanic eruption actually puts out more emissions than 100 years of all cars and industry combined. You can type that into Google. I'm not going to do it right now. I've already done that, or done enough of that just to make one point earlier, but I'm just here to tell you, you're not getting the truth. You think you're getting the truth. You think you're getting, but you got to understand, number one, scientific studies, scientific research, when government funding is involved, that takes all credibility out of the window, and you've got to consider it. Number one, if the government and different subsidies are in place to get, you can pay these different, universities and things to study and give you whatever kind of information you want to. This is why you've got stupid politicians out there right now saying, oh, we've got a scientific study that says video games make people more violent towards one another, makes people kill each other and shoot people up in schools and shit like that. Come on now. Come on. You can literally pay for anything. You have to follow the money. And that's basically what that's what I'm trying to point out on that statement. So, all right, let's move on and let's see. Oh yeah, the hot topic right now is the whole abortion thing. I don't know. Let's see what this one right here is talking about. Mr. Obvious, really, really awesome channel. I like this one. You need to check it out. He's got some really awesome takes, and it's just no nonsense coverage. I like it. Very simple and straight to the point.
The Capitol building, with dozens of people arrested in New York City, LA, and Washington, D.C., with lots of people wanting to riot. Hey, guys, gals, and pals, Mr. Obvious here. And today, we gotta talk about Roe v. Wade. As many of you heard, which was the big news yesterday, is that the Supreme Court has finally ended Roe v. Wade. And boy, oh boy, are people upset.
I'm devastated and terrified And so many women and so many girls are going to die because of this. And I
What?
wanted to dedicate this next song to the 5 members of the Supreme Court who have showed us that at the end of the day, they truly don't give a about freedom.
Are you fucking serious? They.
Oh,
Nice.
wait, you're serious. Let me laugh even harder.
You've got all these celebrities and all these absolute phonies just going out there and saying, "Oh my God, this is a disaster. Women are gonna die." No, they're not. They're not going to. Current medical
They're going
practice
to
will
die.
still protect a woman's
If
life.
that ain't hyperbole, I don't know what is. But see, this is how the left likes to operate. They like to claim there's so much implied victimhood and hurt and all this other bullshit. And it's just like a lot of these cases, like in, you know, big corporations and companies where some woman decides 5 to 10 years after the fact to say that, oh yeah, this person looked at me funny and therefore it was sexual harassment and shit like that. Like, that's just one example of deranged lefty lunatics. Then there's other issues, but I'm getting a little bit off track here. I'm just basically trying to keep with the theme of abortion and then how it rolls into the bond or the relationships between man and women and how that affects things like marriage, etc. But I'm gonna let the video play and we'll discuss later.
The case that she is medically compromised due to pregnancy. This is not the issue. You see, the real issue is you've got all these protesters who want to have an abortion by any means, at any time, for any reason. There are even some who argue for abortion at birth. That means the baby is born and then they decide they don't want it, so they abort it. But we're going to talk about that, folks, and more. But before we do, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for updates for future content, and if you like content like this, please share it with your family and friends and on social media. And now a word from our sponsor. Introducing Webull. Webull is a trading app where you can buy and sell stocks and cryptocurrency. Open a Webull account today and deposit any amount of money, even $1, and you could get up to 6 free stocks worth up to $9,000. My friends, it's basically free money. So download the app, install Webull, deposit a few bucks, and you're gonna get those free stocks, my friends. Join Webull today by clicking the affiliate link down below. And we're back. All right, folks, let's jump right in. Arizona's Capitol building was besieged by pro-abortion protesters Friday night, forcing riot cops to fire tear gas and disperse the angry crowd in the wake of Roe v. Wade being overturned. Lawmakers working to complete their 2022 session said they were effectively being held hostage and eventually huddled in a safe location. That was when SWAT teams, operatives, came down to disperse the crowd. So you can see here a picture, a lot of these pro-abortion activists, and I have to notice how so many of them are women. You know, I don't know why this is such a big issue. First of all, Roe v. Wade should have been ended. It should have never been passed. The Constitution does not guarantee a right to an abortion. That's not in the Constitution. That was a bunk interpretation of the Constitution. And this was the opinion of former Justice Alito for many, many years. Effectively, ending Roe v. Wade makes it a state issue. States where abortion is legal, probably going to stay legal. States where abortion is, maybe red states are gonna have anti-abortion laws. So nothing is really gonna change for most of these women. Like a woman in California is still gonna be able to get an abortion. Nothing will change. However, the women in Texas, they may not be able to. You already have governors like Virginia's Governor Glenn Youngkin pushing state lawmakers for a 15-week abortion ban after the Supreme Court overturned.
This is the thing that actually drives me crazy. I don't understand why people are going crazy over this. What is there to protest about? The Supreme Court, it's not their job to legislate. They don't run legislation from the fucking bench. They're supposed to enforce the pre-existing laws, uphold the law. They do not write law. You know what I mean? So yeah, with that ruling, they acted outside of their own purview. So that was a mistake that just got cleared up just now. That's the way I see it. And if you want my honest opinion when it comes to abortion and things like that, I think I'm going to do a dedicated video specifically to that subject because I feel like that's something I would like to focus exclusively on, rather than just kind of gloss over with this video and with a couple other ones. But it's just ridiculous. I feel like Roe v. Wade is something that actually held women back. I need more time to actually make a solid response on that one, because I do feel like Roe v. Wade is something that kind of incentivized people to just behave in such an animalistic way, and it didn't help anybody. I don't know. It's just not good. So we're gonna continue the video now, and then we'll finish talking about this shit in a minute.
Roe v. Wade, and he's not the only one. You've got many other states talking about putting abortion laws on the books as we speak. Now, this one is funny. Check out the following clip.
That I clearly don't trust women enough to make choices to control their own body. And my response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So inside of them, and to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory, but I think as a legislature, we have the responsibility to create a legal framework that is friendly in supporting rights that I...
How dare you tell women they're responsible for the consequences of their own actions? Yeah, so this caused a bit of a stir. You had a politician basically saying, I do trust women to make choices about their bodies. I trust them to close their legs, right? To control their intake of baby batter. Is this really so controversial? I mean, come on. Look, it would be one thing if we had no contraceptives, right? Then you could say, well, your only choice is to abstain from intercourse. But we have condoms. We've got birth control. We've got the implants. You can do all three. But no.
Holy shit, look at that. All this anger and all this rage.
You can see from this footage that the people in the Capitol in Arizona were clearly feeling threatened. You can see that they're completely surrounded in this footage, and you can even see someone trying to bust the door down, like right there You could see someone kick the door and trying to bust it down. You know, and I can't help but think of Jan 6, right? Cops actually let people go inside.
And you know what? That's some funny shit. He brings up January 6th because, again, think about this for a second. They called, what was it, like a little handful of people who were let inside of the Capitol. By the way, that's official. That has been released. You can go and look that up. The police let them inside of the Capitol. So it's not like they just smashed and entered. Yeah, some people broke windows and all that, and they said this is a very, very sad day for democracy. No, the sad day for democracy is mail-in fucking ballots. The sad day for democracy was when you vote fucking 18 times and you've got people in various states across the nation with illegitimate votes that swung the fucking election. And let's just go ahead and call a cat. Bro, they stopped the press, or the presses. Basically, yeah. Everything got put on pause at 3 o'clock in the morning. They shipped in a busload of fucking ballots and dumped them into the fucking pool. And then what did you expect to happen? I knew something funny was going on. That was unprecedented. And they want to claim that, oh, well, it was anomalous, but this was the most protected and safe and reliable election ever. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Nobody believes that. That's why nobody gives a shit about January 6th, because they knew that the people who protested on January 6th, they actually had every fucking right to do that. But they held that it was peaceful and it was reasonable, and they were fighting for the election. They were fighting for democracy, not against it. And so, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Capitol building. Here they're trying to break the door down and bust in. So yeah, the cops used the tear gas, and I think they were completely justified. But I want to look at some of the assaults. I'm going to read you the following post on Reddit. Reform has failed. Now is the time for revolution. Organize with like-minded people. Perform acts of sabotage.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Wait, what is this? Reddit? Bro, if somebody on the right said anything close to this, anything approaching a call for violence or call to action, if you just say this is a call to action, you could be saying let's all unite, let's peacefully protest, and they would still ban your ass if you have specific political leanings. See, that's the problem. The left plays by their own fucking rules, and then they impose different rules and expectations on everybody else because they're like fucking children. And that's one thing that I do not like. And again, I'll do another video on that later where I discuss in greater detail the mentality of the leftist hive mind and how these people operate, because it's really sickening when you think about it. But let's continue.
And damage to public property. The U.S. is a failed state. Let's tear it down together and make something great from the rubble that benefits everyone.
Cringe.
So you got a bunch of these liberal types on Reddit, and they're out there saying, we need a revolution, destroy it all, and basically calling for harm. And I disagree with this. I think it's bad, and I think they shouldn't be saying these things, but I'm showing you this in order to show you just how extreme the reaction has really been. The massive, massive salt. And it's not just on Reddit. I want to show you something. Here on Twitter with Carlos Maza. He posted a couple of tweets that, in my opinion, are calling for violence. And it's really disturbing to me that Twitter will allow these kinds of tweets, but they will ban a conservative for stating a fact or making a joke. Here's the following.
Exactly. 100% right. 100% right. I've been banned a couple times on social media for speaking like that.
Yeah, you know what? Call me silly,
Well, hold on
but this sounds like Carlos. Just literally do not care how hard you vote. They are not trying to win elections. Violence is the only language they understand, and it's time we start speaking it.
No. The thing is, this is where these left nuts got it wrong. They've been speaking with violence for since Trump took office. Really, you could go back even further than that. I remember, when Obama got up there and said that the police acted stupidly, and that whole situation, I forget the guy's name, but the guy that says he put his hands up and he had his wallet or something like that and he got shot down. This has been going on for a long time. These people, again, they all operate under the same exact bubble. They're in an echo chamber. They communicate with one another, but this is the reason why anybody that disagrees with any one thing, they're immediately cast aside. They're treated like second-class humans, basically, because it's not all part of their program. They're programmed like NPCs in a video game where you walk up to them, they have a stock response to whatever's going on. They're not capable of critical thinking, nothing whatsoever. So this is the reason why this guy can get away, or not get away with it. That's a whole nother reason. But this is the reason why they're over here saying violence is the only language they understand. What violence are you referring to, sir? Carlos Maza? Yeah. Gay wonk. Yeah, that says it all right there, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, you know what? Call me silly, but this sounds like Carlos Maza is calling for violence. So it's certainly a dog whistle at the very least. Why is this tweet still on Twitter? Should Carlos Maza not be banned? And I've talked about this before, but platforms like Twitter, platforms like YouTube, they actively protect these kinds of people. They don't ban them. They don't care about the TOS because they're a left-winger, and they're on the side of big tech. I would have been banned for making this sort of tweet. I just said, well, Democrats literally don't care how hard you vote. They are not trying to win elections. And then if I had said the same thing he said, I would be banned from Twitter.
You know what? And that reminds me, that jackass, what is his name? H3? Ethan Klein. Yeah, that's the guy. This was back after the shooting in Texas took place. This motherfucker had the nerve to sit in front of rolling fucking video cameras. And he said the NRA, they're having a conference or something at this, I forget which location. But he's got, a few hundred, maybe a couple thousand people watching his stream at the time. And this guy had the balls to say, because he knew nothing was going to happen, or if anything, he would just get like a 24-hour suspension, right? No. This dude sits on camera with his fat, gross face and says, oh, somebody should BOMB that fucking place. Now, And everybody kind of rightfully jumped onto him about it, and he's like, oh, it was just a joke. But no, that wasn't a joke. He was fantasizing about like calling for violence, a terrorist attack on the NRA conference that was taking place somewhere. That's the sort of thing that lets me know, number one, these people are disingenuous. These people are so far up their own ass, they can't see reason. They cannot see or discuss anything logically because it's not undergirded by moral values. We're not dealing, again, they're like children. They're like giant children.
Like that. Here on the New York Post, apparently, New York City is preparing to roll out the Welcome Mat for out-of-state abortion seekers. Now, this is something that I would like to talk about. Basically, if states like Texas are going to be banning abortion, then women will have to leave the state in order to get an abortion. You had Belle Delphine basically saying, well, I'm going to go back to Canada because Canada has abortions. You know what I say? Good riddance. Don't come back.
Be gone, hot!
And this is how I feel. If you're a Democrat in a red state like Texas, why don't you pack your bags and get out? Go back to California. Go back to New York City. Go to your left-wing utopia.
Now that I think about it, that's really, really good because it'll make some of these garbage people, and I'm not going to say all of them are, but most people who are taking this issue that seriously, and they feel like they're gonna move to a completely different state over this situation, which they clearly don't understand because, again, it didn't ban abortion. In states where, it's legal, nothing changes for you anyway. But if you want to move, then, hey, by all means, go ahead. Take your raunchy behind to whatever blue state you want to, where they actually still take care of that, sort of medical request, if you want to call it that. But yeah, we don't need you here. I don't need these people coming from California and other big blue states and ruining our politics by installing these progressive politicians. I've had enough of it.
Were you?
Because here's the thing. I hate to keep on pausing the video, but the thing is this. You got to think. When the demographics change, the politics change. Why do you think these people don't want to have borders? Why do you think they don't want to enforce the southern border? I know people in Mexico, and I know people in Southern California, and I also know people in Texas, Southern Texas, and Central Texas. I actually know a guy that just moved here from Texas. And the stuff that's going on down there on the ground level, they don't cover this. And I just talked about how, if you go to Google and you type in the Associated Press, you can find out it's not a legitimate news. They're not covering, documenting real situations. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of truth here and there, but for the most part, everything that they pump out is what they would call, you have to understand this, semantics and wordage. It's everything. This is how they can get away with saying certain things that they say without being sued and things like that, because they call it news media content. It's not meant to be informative and tell the actual truth. They might tell you a little bit, like the headline might be 50% true, and then the body text in the overall article might talk about something completely different, but you wouldn't know that because all you did was look at the headline. This is what these people do. This is the reason why, again, Project Mockingbird was exposed, because it was really effective for a while, but you got to think, people caught on. And when you go on to YouTube and type in Project Mockingbird, and you can look at MSNBC, NBC, CNN, and all these other big name news websites and news stations, and they're all literally saying the same exact shit. This is a dangerous threat to democracy. You click over to CNN. This is a dangerous threat to democracy. You click over to MSNBC. This is a dangerous. They say exactly the same shit every single news station, and they all get these things. It's a cutout. It's just like I told you, it's like paint by numbers news media content that comes from the parent news organization, Associated Press, and a couple other big organizations, and they're the ones that pump out the talking points to brainwash people, to give people the illusion that they're informed, while really all they're doing is just trying to confuse people. Because obviously, yes, the truth is in the news, but it's got a spin on it, and it's doing more harm than good in a lot of cases. So let's see. This is the reason why you got so much mass confusion out there. This is why half the country is fucking rioting right now, complaining, saying they think that the fucking abortion's been completely banned, and that couldn't be further from the fucking truth. Yes, it's a good move. I feel like it's a move in the right direction, but these people are acting like women are going to die as a result of this. Shut the fuck up.
You can get as many abortions as you want because you refuse to use condoms or birth control or be responsible or take personal responsibility for any of your actions. Okay, let's do that. I think this will actually protect states like Texas, which are currently being flooded by people fleeing states like California. I say that ending Roe v. Wade is fantastic because it means all these liberal women, all these Democrat voting women, are going to be encouraged to leave red states and go back to blue states. Sure, it's more expensive. Sure, they'll never be able to afford kids or have a family, but they weren't planning on that anyway. So really, go to your blue state utopias. Why don't ya? Ugh, God. They say Planned Parenthood of Greater New York, which operates 23 centers throughout the state, said it was increasing the availability of appointments by 20%. In the wake of Roe v. Wade. Banning abortion does not take away people's need to access to abortion. We believe all people, no matter where they live, should have the right to control their own bodies, own lives, and future. Joy Calloway, interim president and CEO of Planned Parenthood of Greater New York, said in a statement, "You know what's interesting? The narrative that it's your body and you can do what you want is not, it's not a logical argument. I was seeing this girl on CNN, and she was saying, can you imagine? The Supreme Court thinks it's okay to regulate human uteruses, but not guns, which actually kill people." And I was just sitting there like, lady, abortions kill people. But that's the thing, isn't it? These are women who think that murdering an unborn child, or I'll be nice, ending the life of an unborn child is not murder. This is how they think. Well, it's not born, so it's not a person, so it doesn't matter. How often have you heard them say it's just a clump of cells? Is it? Is it just a clump of cells? If it's just a clump of cells, then leave it in there. 9
Yeah, I gotta pause this video to expand on that previous point that I made about illegal immigration and things like that. Yeah, I know a guy, he's a rancher, and dude, let me tell you something. He's found discarded garbage on his property, just to put it kind of light and not get gruesome with it. No, we have seen injured people, we've seen drug lords, we've seen people using children as glorified meat shields, literally. People, you know, like a little girl's flowery dress, like a toddler almost, like a 4 or 5 year old child's clothes abandoned out there in you know, some woods behind my buddy's house down in Texas. His house had been broken into. He had to invest in bulletproof or shatterproof glass, heavy duty steel doors, a panic room in his house, a security system. I mean, dude, let me tell you something. If you want to keep on playing with this fire, I'm not joking. Y'all are people on the left, which I know they're definitely not watching this podcast, but I'll tell you right now, they will learn what's actually coming across that border. And it's not a bunch of dreamers who want to come over here and, you know, just seeking a better life. Yeah, that might be true for some of them, but a lot of these people are making a business out of smuggling not just human beings and smuggling people over here. They're smuggling drugs and everything else over here. There was over $8 billion in drugs just last week that was apprehended or collected and confiscated coming across the border. 3 billion was caught in Tennessee. I've been watching the news. I know what's going on. I've got sources. I know what's going on out there, and it's not funny. It's not a joke. I remember there was a guy. My buddy I was on the phone with him when this happened. He had to get off the phone and leave because this poor, and it's not just Mexicans, don't get me wrong, this isn't just about Hispanics or anything like that. We've got Chinese people who know that it's easier to get into this country if they can just get to Mexico. They can cross the border just like that, boom, done. This guy, my buddy, I don't want to drop his name, but he has found wallets with IDs from people all over the world. People like, dude, you have no fucking clue what's actually taking place on the border. And the media, the negligence of the media at this point is downright criminal. They cannot just, this isn't something that you just accidentally fuck up and didn't cover this. No, you're doing this on purpose. They lie on a daily basis and they try to tell you that this is just they're coming from a worse country. And this is the other thing that I also want to point out. If they would have finished that fucking wall, if Trump didn't have so much pushback from the fucking people on the left and from the ignorant people who just were not informed and don't know what's going on, and they had actually got that wall put up and they actually enforced the border. Hell, you don't even have to necessarily have a wall if you enforce border policy. And if you have a strong border policy and you don't give them free goodies when they come over here, then they will stay in their country. They will overthrow their government in their own fucking country, and then they will take back their own land. That's what needs to happen. Mexico has been long overdue for a situation like that to take place, but they don't think about that. They're just like, no, just invite all these people over here. But for everybody, especially people like Bernie Sanders, you know what you can do? Why don't you sign up for these people to go to your fucking house, since you've got 2 or 3 houses across the country? Why don't you rent them out free of charge for those illegals coming across the border? Well, no, he's not about to do that because he's full of shit, just like everybody on the fucking left.
Months later, a person's not going to come out. That's crazy. And the funniest thing is the idea of abortion, like, it literally proves that the baby is a life, right? Think about it. Why do you need an abortion? Because you need to kill the baby. If the baby was not alive, if it was not a life, you wouldn't have to kill it to get rid of it. It really is that simple. But of course, the left will screech and go, and you know, they'll cry about autonomy and all this other nonsense. Like, they don't really understand what they're saying. I just don't understand how a pregnant woman can be killed by a drunk driver, and then the drunk driver is charged with double homicide in many cases. Well, the baby's not born, but it's a double homicide? So you're saying the unborn baby is still a human life? My body, my choice. That baby has its own body. What about its choice? It just, the whole argument, the whole thing makes me sick. So we got this hilarious comment on Reddit. Here a woman says, "Should I break up with my boyfriend because he said something ignorant about Roe v. Wade?" I asked him what he thought about the decision regarding Roe v. Wade today, and he said, "I don't watch boxing, lol. I got so mad that I haven't spoken to him all day and refused to make him dinner." Anyone have a similar experience? I feel really sorry for modern men dating these Western liberal women. Like, imagine dating this person. "What did you think about Roe v. Wade?" And you have no idea what's going on. I was like, "Nah, I don't watch boxing." Absolute Giga Chat answer, by the way. And then she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it. He didn't know what I was talking about because he's not obsessed with politics and doesn't belong to a cult." Because that's the way these people act, man. They are cultists. And they just do whatever the Democrats say. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know by commenting.
You know, I'm actually not gonna lie, that was a really good video, and it actually put light on something else. That guy, this woman sharing a post on the internet saying, "Should I dump my boyfriend because he said he doesn't watch boxing matches," just because he's not a cultish guy that follows, you know, all these different topics. I mean, I don't blame you, as it is overwhelming, or it can be overwhelming for some people. Like, if you don't want to follow every little detail of what's going on, I follow these things because I want to know where we're at. I like to be informed. I'm just built different, I guess. But You know, and I still managed to find time to enjoy stuff like, because I know the dude knew exactly what Roe v. Wade is. He knows what it is. He probably just didn't want to say something and piss off his woman. And yeah, I feel bad for the men out there who you might be maybe center right, or maybe just center, or just a little bit right of center, whatever. And you got to walk on eggshells around your progressive slash leftist wife or girlfriend or whatever. Yeah, I don't think lefties really believe in marriage like that, but then again, I don't know, man. Yeah, that just goes to show you. But really, before I move on to the next video, I think I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to call it a night. But yeah, honestly, though, you got to think about this. These people, again, they engage in so much hyperbole, talking about how women are going to die and it's so horrible and this and that. But honestly, look at the last 25 or 40 some odd years since Roe v. Wade. Do you think that after Roe v. Wade and all that, do you really think that it empowered women, or do you think it did good for the family dynamic? Because I still view the cornerstone of any functional society, and let's just go ahead and call a spade. Right now, this country is in a regressive state. It's societally dysfunctional, and you know, we've got a lot of big issues going on right now. Because there should be no reason. Like, if you go to Google or Yahoo search engines or any of them, and you type in how to, and the first fucking thing that comes up is stuff like how to make a man stay in your life, or how to have a successful relationship. That's what America wants to know. Then that tells me right there that point blank, period, that we've got some serious core issues. They're too focused on their sexuality. They're too focused on this periphery shit that's superficial and doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, oh yeah, I've got to use gender pronouns and stuff like that. They're so caught up on their identity and all that, they forgot how to just be a fucking human being. They forgot how to just have some compassion. Be responsible. What this whole Roe v. Wade thing has done at this point, now that it's been overturned, it just basically says, hey, you need to be more responsible. You need to be prepared to deal with the consequences of because look, nobody gets pregnant by mistake. There's no fucking mistake. You made the choice to go up in the fucking bed, lay down, and get busy. That's your fucking decision. And now you want to take it out on the rest of the world because you're a fucking child. You're childish. You weren't raised right. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is. You're being irresponsible, and you want to make it everybody else's problem. You want to put that on everybody else's conscience. You want to guilt trip everybody else and make it seem like we're the ones with the problem because you want to live a life of just nothing but just this oversaturation of pleasure. And I don't feel like it's made this country stronger or better in any way, shape, or form. I think it's made people weaker. This oversaturation of pleasure and lack of responsibility. If you just slip up and have a child because you weren't responsible in the first place, let's just edit and undo the whole thing right there. That's disgusting. I don't like it. I don't fucking agree with it. I don't think, because I feel like that's the majority of the cases. That's not like, oh, well, somebody's health was at risk, so we had to get an abortion. Bullshit. No, you're living a hedonistic lifestyle, and now because you just might, depending on the state that you live in, you just might have to bear the burden of the fucking foolishness. No. Cry me a fucking river. Let's move on to the next case. Look at this one. Jesus Christ.
Holy fucking shit, you guys! I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died!
Actually, you know what? I remember seeing this. This is an old... oh, yeah, I remember this one. This is back when... This is back when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. This was a while ago. I remember this shit, though. I wonder what she's doing these days. She's probably screaming and crying under her bed right now that Roe v. Wade got overturned.
Yeah.
That was
Nice.
All right, lads and ladies out there, just a few more months. We're gonna do it.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna do it. Finally. Gonna get a black person on the Supreme Court. Oh, we did it, Abe. We did it. Fuck you, Two-Face. It's a momentous occasion. Civil rights movement in the right direction. Finally, a black person. After 234 years, finally a black person on the Supreme Court. There's been black people on the Supreme Court before. There's a black person on the Supreme Court right now. It's not the right fucking skin color. Well, it's the right skin color. He's skin folk, but not kinfolk. And he
You know what? That's something else that I actually wanted to discuss, and I'll probably do a more fleshed out video on this subject, but the people on the left love getting offended and outraged on behalf of other people, and I swear to God, that's got to be one of the most offensive and condescending and prejudiced, I won't say racist, but prejudiced things that you can do, because you assume that the people that you're offended for are too stupid to understand that they should be offended in your eyes, and you feel like, you're just so compelled to step up and say something about it and virtue signaling and acting like you're such a good person. People need to stop that. I don't know. It's just something that I just thought about while looking at this headline right here from CNBC. Senate confirms Ketanji Brown Jackson to Supreme Court, making her the first black woman to serve as a justice. That sounds like a diversity hire. I really hate the fact that they have to focus so much on shit like that. See, that's another problem right there. Like, if I went and applied, for instance, to the job where I'm at right now, I don't know. I don't know. It's just really irritating. Because if somebody hired me just because of my skin color, I would feel just as pissed off as if I didn't get the job due to my skin color. But I know I've never been denied a job for my skin color. It's always been, well, I either fucked up in the interview, or maybe, I don't know, I went up in there looking high or unkempt or looking homeless, some shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's about 1,000,000,001 reasons why you may or may not get a job, but being black is hardly one of them. It says right there when you fill out the application that this is a equal, pretty much everybody. It's always an equal opportunity employer, and they're not going to discriminate and all that shit. So for somebody to look at this country as a whole and just claim that everybody's inherently racist and it's systemic, I get so sick of hearing that systemic line. They use that to make it sound like they're speaking with such conviction and they know exactly what they're talking about. They know it is systemic because people were fucking racist and were slave owners fucking 200-300 years ago. Like, first of all, that whole structure has died and decayed and gone away. And it's the exact opposite is true now. They're more racist against white people than anything else. Like, I've never heard such vitriol and hatred for white people on the news media, on the streets, everything else. And yeah, it's hardly happening to blacks. You know, when I walk outside of the house or if I go to certain neighborhoods, I'm not even worried about the fucking cops messing with me and stuff like that. I'm more concerned with a good old brother pulling up and trying to jack my shit. I'm more worried about that than I am about a cop pulling me over for a busted taillight, which I keep my taillights in my car, you know, kind of up to snuff, so I don't have to worry about dumb shit like that. But anyway, let's move on with this video and let's see what he's talking about.
He got a vagina. It's different this time. It's different. It's different this time. Black vagina. Some sort of social justice warrior calculus over here, even though math be fucking racist. Black vagina greater than black penis? Something like this? I'm not quite sure. Anyhow. Again, momentous occasion, right? Everybody out there on the left-hand side love themselves some fucking black Supreme Court justices, lads. Oh, wait, no, they don't. Oh, shit. Ray. Fuck you, Judge Clarence Thomas. Fucking Uncle Tom. Holy shit. Holy shit. You just told me how important it was to have a black person on the Supreme Court. You've got a black person on the Supreme Court. You fucking hate him. And you treat him like shit. I mean, you're fucking completely insane, by the way. As a white person, are you allowed to like this tweet, by the way? This is Samuel L. Jackson. How's Uncle Clarence feeling about overturning Loving versus Virginia? So he's talking about, mixed race relationships and stuff like that. I think that's what he's referring to. I don't know. He's in a mixed race relationship, so he's probably not going to be overturning that one. Again, I could be wrong. I don't really care. The implied lunacy over here is that, well, not even implied, it's explicit. Look at this fucking Uncle Tom over here. He ain't a real black person. Oh, okay. Well, the dude who pretends to be people in Hollywood, California, surrounded by degenerates and kid fuckers is slandering the best Supreme Court justice we've ever seen in our lifetime. I mean, what a fucking badass. What an absolute big testosterone savage. Justice Clarence Thomas says, oh yeah, no, fuck Clarence Thomas. The dude who hangs out with kid fuckers all of the time. The dude who's constantly around kid fuckers and kid traffickers. I'm gonna listen to him because he said motherfucker in that, motherfucker in that one movie. Well, all the movies. That's all he fucking does.
You know what? That's actually interesting that he pointed that out, because if you really think about it, a lot of these politicians have a tendency to hang out with people who are, what that word? You know, the FBI and different organizations actually came up with that just to mask what they're talking about. Because it's funny. What is it? It's called MAP. Yeah, minor attracted person is what it stands for, MAP, M-A-P. But the reason they say that is so that they're not just openly talking about pedophilia and things of that nature. And I found it kind of funny, to be perfectly honest, because it's like, right, a lot of these politicians, the big names out there, they're all guilty of this. They've been hanging out with, kitty diddlers from Hollywood, and they all get donations and stuff like that. And you really got to think about this. Do you really want somebody like that representing your country or your state, wherever you live? Like, there are a lot of people who go out and hang with these people and schmoozing it up with them. And for me, I don't know. You want to talk about Trump and some of the things that he's done, it's nothing compared to, like, if you look at Biden, he has never met a child that he does not want to sniff, and I'll just leave it at that.
Anyhow, and it's not just, Samuel L. Jackson over here. That's trending. Uncle Clarence Thomas is trending, again, by all of the people who told you that everybody else was a Nazi racist. They love updoing this. A bunch of fucking white chicks. Bunch of angry white feminist bitches with a lot of college debt sitting there going, oh my god, this. Oh my god, this. Oh my god, this. Oh my god, this. Why is it that I can drop 84 ballots into a Dropbox for Joe Biden, but I can only like this one time? Fucking idiots. And so, of course, you're sitting there going, well,
that is really hilarious.
It's not racist. Because I just said
something about that a while ago.
He's black, so he can make this, slur and throw it in Judge Clarence Thomas's direction. It's fine. Okay, but what about these people?
Really
There's a lot of these motherfuckers on Twitter. There's shit ton of these people on Reddit. All of these lefty hive minds. They say some crazy shit. This chick's fucking account's not even blasted over here. This is fine? This is fine? Oh man, here's AJ or IndyCat30. There's no way that chick's 30. She's 30? That's some fucking Brian Stelter energons over there. Man, being a lefty will make you age rapidly. Alright, anyway, she's obviously opened up the Ark of the Covenant.
Being a leftist and
here's a 30-year-old
makes you age. That's actually interesting.
I don't know what this chick is over here. Doesn't the N-ball.
It's kind of weird. The only people I've seen
I'll be arrested if I read these. If I read this out right here,
facial hair,
Interpol will send some mounted fucking Canadian horseback sons of bitches into California to arrest me.
They don't get a very substantial
diet. Doesn't this N-ball realize his rights are next?
They just look unhealthy.
I love this dipshit. It's probably a dude. Comes back and goes, "Oh man, you made me do this. You fucking bibble thumpers. You made me so mad. I dropped an N-bomb. Casually.
Drop the N-word.
I've been mugged by
and people
fucking
I'm
black
not
people. I
racist
didn't drop
either,
an
just
N-bomb.
making fun. Really? Really?
This guy
Hold
just
on a
said...
second. Why is Twitter allowing this? See, this right here, this is the double standard. If they didn't have double standards, they would have no standards at all. This is Twitter in a nutshell. So people on the right, they've got to walk on eggshells day in and day out. You got to be careful what you say. Hell, if you even use the COVID-19 word, anything like that, you even mention Anthony Fauci's name or anything, you will be banned, you'll be suspended. They'll put a big old filter over your statement and they'll say it's missing context and this and that and the third. But this person right here, clearly a person without melanated skin, not that I really care. I mean, think about this. We had a civil war. We had the Emancipation Proclamation. We had all of this so that I didn't have to worry about anybody throwing around the N-word. So trust me, you can say it all you want to, and the only response you're going to get from me is, have a good day, sir. And that's about it. I mean, seriously, that is the most powerful response. For us to have come so far as black people, or people of color, if you prefer, in this nation, why are you going to allow yourself to be reduced to tears or a rambling mess to fight somebody or lash out just because somebody called you a word? Like, seriously. Like, I don't know. Something's clearly wrong with people. They need help. I think because most of the people who behave in this manner, they're coming from a place of deep emotional and mental scarring. Usually it's due to a lack of a father figure or a positive male role model in the house. They've been raised by a single parent, typically the mother. They know all about emotions and how to express their emotions in the purest way imaginable, but they don't know how to set boundaries, not healthy boundaries. They don't know how to control their temper. They don't know how to express themselves as men. And yeah, I don't know. I think I've said enough about that. I'm tired of talking about it already. It's just kind of sad, but you know, this kind of stuff right here, AJ, IndyCat30, I don't know, dropping the N-word because you're mad, you know, I don't know. I've never gotten mad at an Asian person and called them a chink, or gotten angry at a Hispanic and called them there's derogatory terms for virtually everybody out there. I've never out of anger dropped a derogatory word to insult somebody. So that says more about you than it says about anybody else. You want to call him a field N-word or a Uncle Tom and all that. I've seen these posts and they've been popping up all over the place. This is quite ridiculous, though, to say the least. These people should be ashamed of themselves. They really should be.
Abortion's back to the state level. You're so irate that you're dropping N-bombs all over the place? Sounds kind of racist. This is all Irish girl over here. Irish American 27 on Twitter. Dropping this. Here's John Corbett. Clarence Thomas, just another dumb. Whoa!
Wow! Bro! Holy shit. Clarence Thomas, just another. Wow! Their true colors have been revealed. Wow! Oh, shit. That's insane, bro. I mean, God, tell me how you really feel, sir.
Damn, what is going on over here? Again, crazy. John P. Cummings. There's
What?
definitely a
Bro, they're just rolling with it. Clarence Thomas really wants to own slaves and be able to call black people in front of white people and laugh. Cool. Oh my God. Bro, they are. Can you say triggered? Holy. Let's see. Man, Clarence Thomas really one hateful. Oh, dude, they are just. Wow. No. You know, these people right here, they're the ones. Because you got to think about this. Clarence Thomas, He's a badass, okay? I'm going to put it like this. He's on top of his game. He's doing his job. He's a successful, black person. I'm not the type of person, just like, people always tell me, hey, don't fixate on left and right because they're both part of the same rotten bird, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get that. But I'm not, when I say left and right, I'm typically talking about people who affiliate with the left or right, not necessarily left and right politicians, because I understand they're one and the same. But overall, yeah, when I talk about people, when I talk about left or right, understand that I'm referring to people who view themselves as left or right. And me, on the other hand, I'm an independent. I'm kind of in the middle. I lean left and right on various different topics, but now Serena here and JMA, Moon Clinic, whatever, John P. Cummings, this right here is very toxic, and I'm amazed that Twitter is allowing these posts to stay up there. They're laden with racist insults. That's quite ridiculous that Twitter, but again, this is just one example of just, again, the double standard. People always say, oh, nobody's trying to curtail the free speech of people on the right. Bullshit. Yes, they are. Because, look, how do you explain people like these posting such toxic nonsense, ignorant nonsense? These people right here, I swear, it reminds me of, because even though they're trying to call out Clarence Thomas, he's been a nice person. He seems like a very reasonable man. He's got good values. I tend to believe him in, I stand with him on a lot of issues. So, but Serena here and these people, they all sound like different versions of, what's that dude's name? Samuel L. Jackson from Django Unchained. He's a guy, he's kind of pissed off at Django because he's free and he's riding his own horse and all that. That's who these people are. That's really what's going on here. All right.
Don Lemon joke in there somewhere. It's scatological. Anyway. Clarence Thomas really
Clarence
wants to
Thomas
own slaves and be
Supreme
able to
Court
call black
Justice
people and bombs
who
in front of
is
white
awesome.
people and laugh.
He
Holy
is
shit. Again.
He's a model citizen, to say the least. Main reason he's really fit for the Supreme Court Justice is because of his background.
It just goes on and
you know
on
what?
and on.
We could actually do something like a little educational video, maybe once a week.
I don't think
Whoa,
these tweets are still up, by the way. Fucking hell. Here's this.
The wrong side of
It's a little
history.
bit crazy. Soul.
And this is another thing. These people think so highly of themselves. Oh, you're on the wrong side of history. Sir, do you not realize that 100 years from now, people are probably going to look back on this and be like, wow, people actually got upset because the Supreme Court, a court that does not, their purpose is not to make or write laws, but people actually got upset and rioted and screamed in the streets because they corrected a mistake that was made like years ago. Right, okay. Whatever you say. I'm pretty sure people are going to look back on this and they're going to see the whole thing as an embarrassment because we should never have even sunk to this level in the first place. And I'll tell you right now, I'll tell you again, Roe v. Wade, I feel like set women back. It held women back. Women are more than what is between their legs. We need to start with that first. For these women, especially the ones on the college campuses, to scream bloody murder about being objectified by men and all this other nonsense while they at the same time walk around in basically their underwear, right? They sleep with a man on the first date and then they wonder why they didn't get the call the day after. I mean, it's your fault because you think that that's what holds a relationship together. You can't do that. It takes more than your sexuality to make a relationship work. It's, your personality, your skills, do you possess the qualities needed to build an actual family, which is what any man, that's worth anything, he's going to want a woman that reflects those qualities. So he's not going to want some sassy, and it's okay, sass is fine, it's not bad. I'm just saying he doesn't want somebody that's all attitude but no substance to back it up. Somebody that thinks they're all, because here's the thing, beauty's only skin deep, right? It doesn't, show anybody that's what gets things started, sure, but it takes a whole lot more than that. What is this? Let's see what the comments are saying. Yeah. All right. We're going to finish up
Soul
on this
King
one because it's
Lives.
actually going on after 3 o'clock.
That Coon Clarence Thomas fell in line to make sure Loving
Yeah,
versus Virginia
let's
wasn't
see.
overturned. I promise all skin folk hate kin folk.
Yeah,
go
I
look
know,
up
that's
what
the
Loving versus
problem.
Virginia
My
is,
stream of
boys.
consciousness, I can bounce around quite a bit, honestly.
absolutely insane. It just keeps going.
And
oh,
yeah,
he's
it's
an
kind of
awful
hard
ruckus.
to actually stay
Yeah.
on topic because I've
sort of
touched on,
newfangled
aside from my intro
pejorative
video
that's
that I
being
did
thrown around.
earlier
Am I out of
on
it? Am I too old to
stream.
understand what this is coming
How
from?
long has this stream
It just
even
keeps
been going anyway? I don't even
Irish
know.
School over here got them all cataloged.
Duration.
This just keeps going. Holy shit! It's just a whole bunch of
Started.
angry
Okay, it's
white
kind of
liberals
basically an hour.
out
That's not
there
too bad.
just casually throwing around
But yeah,
the most craziest
I can
racist
bounce
slurs
around a whole lot,
again
especially
on a
when I have a little
platform
bit of energy.
that won't let you
when
say anything about
I
drag
could be
weirdos.
laser focused as well. Like if
Come
I
on,
actually
Elon.
don't have
Finish
to
this
work, or if I
purchase
have
up,
an off day,
and let's clean
I might
house
actually
and
do
make
that,
America great
see if
again
I can
by taking
schedule
all of
something.
these lunatics and
Let's
sending them
see.
to fucking Venezuela or Cuba, some shit like
This
that.
actually might
But you can't
work
stay here.
out pretty well.
Can't stay here.
Let's see.
All right, guys, thanks so much for watching the video support channel. We kept it today on the tolerant, progressive, white
Let's
liberal
see.
in their own
Let's see.
habitat,
Monday, Tuesday,
just
Wednesday,
casually
Thursday,
throwing
Friday.
around N-bombs and coon
Yeah,
bombs
we'll figure
and all
something
this other
out.
fucking
I think I
racial
actually
shit.
might do
Hit
that. I'll
subscribe
try
button
to
and
mix
make
it up a
way.
little bit, but stay on
this
one
one.
topic at a time because I've talked about everything. I've talked about global warming. I've talked about economics. I've talked about politics, my political leanings, and all this. Twitter proves 100% lying. These heinous tweets trending prove it. Oh yeah, this is just an extension of what we were looking at before. People are upset about the Roe v. Wade thing, and they're taking to Twitter and posting a bunch of stupidity. Banning abortion will, number one, it's not a ban on abortion. That's where these people are missing the point. But it will disproportionately impact people of color, LGBTQ plus community. How does it affect LGBTQ? Jesus Christ. Look, tell me that you're ill-informed and ignorant and don't know what you're talking about without saying that you're actually ignorant, stupid, and don't know what you're talking about. Because banning abortion has virtually no effect on LGBTQ communities because 2 men, 2 women, they cannot have a baby to begin with. This right here is bullshit. God, dude. This is so funny, but yeah. All right, I'm not gonna watch this one. Let's see what else we got. Why abortion in Japan is not political hysteria. Well, I don't think this is actually a good comparison because Japan is very, very different from the U.S. in a lot of different ways, politically, sociopolitically. Their religion is very, very different. You've got Buddhas there, it's a larger religion there than here. Over here, it's Christianity. And not only that, if you look, I'm going to make a point here. Because Japan, yeah, people can say, well, yeah, abortion isn't an issue in Japan. Well, yeah, that might be true. But Japanese, like, their porn industry, they can't even get men to perform in the porn industry over there. So that's how conservative they are. And you want to really compare this, we're talking apples and oranges. Japan, their whole population is in decline right now just because I don't know if they had the same issues as we did as a nation, before we did, but that's actually an interesting point. But if you look here, Japan, population, yeah, here it is, in decline, or population decline. Country recorded births. Wow, dude, that's actually a pretty big decrease. So 800,000 births and almost 1.5 million deaths last year, meaning the population dropped by 600,000. The biggest natural decline. How exactly? See, this is what the statistics and data. This is why it confuses me. How do you consider this natural? This is not natural. A healthy society, the population will always expand. You know, and again, I'm starting to bounce around a little bit, but see. Yeah, exactly. Now I'm talking about Japan. Yeah, exactly. But it's an extension of, I mean, see, you got to kind of follow the bouncing ball sometimes. I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but basically, I'm just going to bring it all the way back to here in the U.S. The U.S., we're going to see a similar issue going on here, where we don't have more people here in this country. This is what happened. This is what happens when a country is in trouble. When you have social dysfunction, societal decay, this is the logical conclusion of that. You end up with numbers like this. You end up having to import people from other countries and beg other countries to come in. Now, things are a little bit different right now. They're replacing the demographics here. This is a completely different country with different demographics, different politics, different background. So you really can't compare the two. But that's just one example of societal issues that plague a nation. Over here, we have the abortion issue. I feel like that whole Roe v. Wade nonsense really held women back. I think it made things worse between men and women. It hindered people's ability to trust one another and to have an honest relationship. This is this is really what a lot of people think about when they talk about relationships, the failing marriages and things like that. These are things that are not going to be remedied by saying, oh yeah, let's just legalize abortion. That's allowing people to be as irresponsible as possible, and I think that hurts more than helps. But anyway, it is going on 3:30. I've got to get ready to go to sleep, guys. And it's been fun. I will definitely pick this back up tomorrow. We'll try to stick to 1 or 2 topics and we'll make it a whole lot better. I'm still getting the hang of this thing, but I'm enjoying it so far. And anybody else out there who watches this video, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. And we'll do something a little bit different tomorrow. I hope to have a face reveal for you. I'm gonna be putting my I don't know where I'm gonna actually have it. I might try to have my camera or my face will be up in the upper right, maybe on the bottom left or right. I'm not too sure yet, but I'll figure something out. Let's see here. Well, I appreciate the kind comments, very much so. Oh my God, what is that? Hold on. Near perfect 30,000-year-old baby woolly mammoth discovered in Yukon's Klondike goldfields. Okay, yeah, I didn't want to read that. So yeah, anyway, but yeah, it's been fun though. Keep in mind, this is a work in progress. We're going to continue to evolve, change things up a little bit. I'll pick maybe 1 or 2 topics at a time next time rather than bounce around a lot, because yeah, that does kind of lose people. I get that. And we want to keep it simple and keep it entertaining. So anyway, it's been fun. I'm going to get off here. Let's see, where is the... oh, here we go. Stop streaming. That's it.